Hi, so in this video, I wanted to discuss my traumatic injury, the story of my traumatic injury. It occurred about 4 years ago. We're coming up on the anniversary, a 4-year anniversary. And let me make sure this is on. Okay. And yeah, it was pretty tough. It was 4 years ago. I fell about 5 stories and I shattered my tailbone. I fractured my hip, knee, both of my feet, and it was difficult, very difficult. And this happened at the end of May in 2021, and it took about the whole summer just to get the first 7 surgeries completed. And this was extremely challenging. Um, I think I went into some autopilot mode where I just took things as they came and okay, today's one surgery, the next day another surgery, or a test and this and that. And I kind of gave up control of my body. It was not functioning the way it normally would, and I couldn't do anything for myself, nothing. And yeah, about in that same summer, um, because I couldn't walk from the end of May until December of that year, I was placed on a catheter device. There were two different catheters that I had to use. One of them is like attached to you 24/7, and it comes with a little leg bag where the urine will flow through, and you can attach it to your leg with a Velcro strap. And that was something to even hide under my clothes, to go to appointments, and um, yeah, it was very difficult. And there was an overflow incident. Jesus, this was there was no guidance on how to even use this thing, and if something were to go wrong, what's the plan? There's no guidance like that. So what ended up happening was my bladder kind of stretched to its limits. It's complete. It's called being distended, but it's as if like a balloon that stretches, it doesn't go back to its original shape. Uh, yeah, so that was tough. And there's some things that come along with that. Even the catheter, like um, after I started walking again, I tried to get that catheter removed. And then I had to transition to another type of catheter. They call it an intermittent self catheter. And I would use it, it's a device that you use every time you need to urinate. And I, of course, with no sensation, have to time those trips to the bathroom. And at that time, I believe it was every 4 hours that I was doing that. And this I could only sleep for a maximum of 6 hours. Otherwise, you know, your your bladder can burst. Okay, and I can just visualize a balloon popping, and it's so scary to me. Um, Even that day when it overflowed, it was the scariest I've ever. I've never felt so scared in my life. And it was like I had growth in my stomach. It was just stretching, stretching. And I thought, oh my God, what's going on? Help me, somebody. It's like when you really have to pee, but you really have to go, and there is nowhere to go, or there's just an inability to go. And it was terrifying. And so this is something that I constantly deal with. Like I'll have dreams about my alarms of like time to go to the bathroom, and it will ring in my dreams. uh, yeah, but and this is a very difficult story to even talk about. When we're talking about like our private area, it's very uncomfortable. But I I know that it can help people. I know that it can. I know when I was in this situation, 15 months of my bladder not functioning correctly. And I found some hope in these studies that were done in Japan of these two women, one with 3 months of dysfunction, one with 6 months of dysfunction. And I thought, well, once their tailbones were repaired properly, then their functioning returned. There is hope for me. And I just gave that hope to myself because no one could give that hope to me. They've never seen a situation like this. So, on one hand, I understand, but on the other, um, give me a chance, right? Give my body a chance and see what it can do. And yeah, it's been very difficult. After that first 7 surgeries, I had another surgery, number 8, about a year after number 7. And 2 months after that, I left my partner. We were together for 8 years. And honestly, it was the best thing for me and for my recovery because um, he was unable to be there for me in the way that I needed. And on some level, I understand. If you're not capable, then leave. Um, and so, yeah, after that, my recovery started getting better. I was able to put on some weight, and I had lost my menstrual cycle even throughout this process. And so then it came back once I was able to get over 100 pounds. I forgot to mention, even after this whole thing, I lost about 50 pounds in the hospital bed because I just didn't have the appetite to eat anything. And it never really came back. It's just something that I constantly have to work on, eating as if it's like a schedulized, like it's a medicine, which it is. Food is medicine. So, and even I think with meat too, it's more difficult to process in my stomach because I prefer just fruits and vegetables. A lot has changed, and I'm at a point, thankfully, where I'm grateful that this occurred because it allowed me to transform into the person I've always wanted to be. Um, I realized uh, this life is for me. I fought every day to be here and I have value. These were things I didn't know before and I struggled with. And even relationships, female relationships, this was difficult because of the relationship with my mother and finding so many wonderful women. I call them my female healers that really showed me what nurturing really looks like. And I can't thank them enough. It was life changing to have that sort of encouragement, that support, uh, that nurturing energy. And I was so used to doing the nurturing myself. So to have it returned to me, it was nice to, wow, there are good people out there. And it's been difficult for me to step outside of that recovery circle, the support groups. And it's difficult because it, there's less understanding out there. It's hard to explain all of these different injuries and all the things you've been through. People really just look at you and they make a judgment call. And I've had several situations, um, typically with older people. I find it's like I guess those particular people don't realize that traumatic injury can occur at any age and it might not even be visible to you. So having bladder and bowel dysfunction, I think that qualifies. Uh, so there's just there needs to be a little more compassion. I think there's anyone can have traumatic injury, and I think I would love to build a community of young people who've had traumatic injury and how we're approaching life, being different, having different needs.
In the next few slides, you'll see some of the photos I took along the way. I included a letter from my pain management doctor listing all the injuries on the day of the fall. I want to direct other trauma patients to the Children of Trauma websites for patient advocacy services, as well as holistic healing coaching for trauma survivors.